You probably think you know what a Horcrux is, a dark object, a container for a piece of someone's soul. Voldemort made 7 of them and Harry Potter destroyed them all. Simple enough. But here's what most people miss. The creation of a Horcrux doesn't just split the soul, it fundamentally corrupts the maker. It makes them less human with every act. And Voldemort, in his obsession with immortality, didn't just make 6 Horcruxes. He accidentally made 7. That final one cost him everything he thought he had gained. Tonight, we're going through all 7 Horcruxes, where they came from, what they contained, and how they were ultimately destroyed. By the end of this, you'll understand why Dumbledore called Horcruxes the most evil of all dark magic, and why making just one is considered a point of no return. Horcrux 1. Tom Riddle's Diary. Destroyed in Chamber of Secrets. You probably know the diary, a plain black journal that Ginny Weasley wrote in during her first year at Hogwarts. You know that Tom Riddle's memory lived inside it, slowly possessing her, using her to reopen the Chamber of Secrets. But what you might not realize is just how dangerous this Horcrux was compared to all the others. Most Horcruxes are passive. They sit and wait, containing a soul fragment that does nothing on its own. The diary was different. It was designed to act. It could think, speak, manipulate, and possess. It was less a container and more a weapon. Dumbledore later confirmed it was the most dangerous of all the Horcruxes for exactly this reason. Voldemort had created it as a memory, a living piece of himself that could one day possess a body and carry on his work if he ever fell. The diary was destroyed in 1993 when Harry Potter stabbed it with a basilisk fang inside the Chamber of Secrets. The venom dissolved it completely, and it is no coincidence that the method that worked on the diary became the blueprint for destroying all the others. Horcrux 2. Marvolo Gaunt's Ring. Destroyed by Dumbledore. You probably know that Voldemort used his grandfather's ring as a Horcrux. What you might not know is just how old and significant that ring truly was. The ring was set with the Resurrection Stone, one of the 3 Deathly Hallows. The stone is engraved with the symbol of the Hallows and has the power to bring back the dead, or rather, shadow versions of them. Voldemort, focused entirely on his Horcrux, never recognized what the stone actually was. He had one of the most powerful objects in magical history and used it only as a vessel. Dumbledore eventually retrieved the ring from the Gaunt family shack and was cursed in the process. The curse was dark, spreading through his hand like a black fire. It was Snape who contained it, but Dumbledore was already dying. He had roughly a year left to live before the curse would consume him. He destroyed the Horcrux using Godric Gryffindor's sword, which had been imbued with basilisk venom after Harry used it in the Chamber of Secrets. The stone cracked but survived. Dumbledore kept it, and it would later play a crucial role in the forest during Harry's final confrontation. Horcrux 3. Slytherin's Locket. Destroyed by Ron Weasley. You probably remember the locket from the film. A heavy gold chain, impossible to open, worn around necks like a curse of its own. What you might not know is how long this locket had already been missing, and how close it had come to being destroyed years before Harry, Ron, and Hermione ever found it. Regulus Black, Sirius's younger brother and a Death Eater, had discovered Voldemort's Horcrux plan after watching his house elf Kreacher be used and left for dead in the cave where the locket was hidden. Disgusted and changed by what he saw, Regulus returned to that same cave with Kreacher, retrieved the real locket, and left a fake in its place with a note inside, signed R.A.B. He ordered Kreacher to destroy it, but Kreacher couldn't. No magic he tried worked. The locket sat in 12 Grimmauld Place for years until Dolores Umbridge eventually acquired it. During the trio's hunt for Horcruxes, wearing the locket amplified negative emotions. Whoever had it on felt heavier, darker, more hopeless. It was Ron who ultimately destroyed it, plunging Gryffindor's sword through the locket while facing the projection of his deepest fears. The soul fragment inside screamed as it was torn apart. Horcrux 4. Hufflepuff's Cup. Destroyed by Hermione Granger. You probably know Hufflepuff's Cup as the Horcrux hidden in Bellatrix Lestrange's vault at Gringotts, but the story of how it got there reveals exactly how calculated Voldemort was when choosing his vessels. Voldemort was obsessed with the 4 founders of Hogwarts. He had already taken a relic from Slytherin. He would later take one from Ravenclaw. Gryffindor's sword eluded him, but Hufflepuff's cup, a small golden cup with 2 handles and a badger engraved on it, had passed into the hands of Hepzibah Smith, a wealthy collector. Horcrux 5. Ravenclaw's Diadem. Destroyed by Vincent Crabbe's Fiendfire. You probably know that Ravenclaw's diadem is the Lost Diadem. The founder herself enchanted it to grant the wearer wisdom beyond their natural ability. For centuries, it was considered gone, vanished, lost to history. The truth is that Helena Ravenclaw, the Grey Lady and ghost of Ravenclaw Tower, stole it from her mother and hid it in a forest in Albania. Voldemort, who had a gift for drawing secrets out of people, charmed the story out of her during his time at Hogwarts and retrieved it himself. He then hid it in the Room of Requirement before he left the school, inside an enormous hidden chamber filled with centuries of students' forgotten objects. Harry found it there during the Battle of Hogwarts, but it was not destroyed intentionally. Vincent Crabbe cast Fiendfire, a cursed magical fire that destroys almost anything. The Room of Requirement burned. The diadem was consumed within it. Crabbe himself did not survive. Horcrux 6 and 7, Nagini and Harry Potter, the Snake and the Unintended Horcrux. You probably know that Nagini was a Horcrux, Voldemort's snake, his companion, the last living Horcrux by the time of the Battle of Hogwarts. What you might not know is how late in the story Nagini became one. Voldemort made Nagini a Horcrux after murdering Bertha Jorkins in 1994, using his final soul fragment. By that point, his soul was so damaged, so unstable, that the fragment he used was barely recognizable as human. Nagini became not just a Horcrux, but a symbol of Voldemort's descent into something that was barely a person anymore. Nagini was destroyed by Neville Longbottom during the Battle of Hogwarts using Gryffindor's sword pulled from the Sorting Hat itself in one of the story's most satisfying moments. But then there's the seventh, the one Voldemort never planned. The one that should never have existed. On the night of October 31st, 1981, Voldemort arrived at Godric's Hollow with a single purpose: to kill a child. A prophecy had named Harry Potter as the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord, and Voldemort, who had never understood love or sacrifice, believed the solution was simple: find the boy, kill him, end it. He killed James Potter first, then Lily, and then he stood over a crib and cast Avada Kedavra at an infant who could not fight back. What happened next had never happened before in the history of magic. The curse rebounded, not because Harry was powerful, not because he had trained or prepared, but because his mother had just died for him. Lily Potter's sacrifice created a protection so ancient and so rare that Voldemort's own curse could not penetrate it. It bounced back, it destroyed his body, and it should have ended there. But Voldemort's soul was already so fractured, so damaged by years of Horcrux creation, that the rebound did something even he could not have predicted. It tore off one final piece of his soul, a fragment so small, so unstable, that it had nowhere to go. No prepared vessel, no object waiting to receive it, and so it latched on to the only living thing in the room, the boy in the crib, Harry Potter. In that moment, without any ritual, without any murder committed by Harry's own hand, a Horcrux was created. Harry became a container for a piece of Voldemort's soul. His scar was not just a mark left by dark magic, it was a window. It was the reason Harry could speak Parseltongue, the reason he could feel Voldemort's emotions, the reason he sometimes saw through Voldemort's eyes. They were connected in a way that went deeper than anyone understood, because part of Voldemort lived inside Harry, and nobody knew. Not the Order of the Phoenix, not Dumbledore, not Harry. For 16 years, he walked through life carrying the very thing they were trying to destroy. Dumbledore eventually pieced it together. Quietly, carefully, and then he made a decision he never told Harry, not until it was too late to turn back, because the truth was devastating. The soul fragment inside Harry could not be removed by any spell or object. There was only one way to destroy it. Harry had to die, not be murdered in cold blood. But he had to stand in front of Voldemort and not run. He had to accept death willingly, in the same way his mother had accepted it for him. The protection that had saved Harry as a baby required the same courage, the same surrender. So that is what Harry did. In the Forbidden Forest, alone, with no plan to survive, he walked toward Voldemort and let him cast the killing curse. And here's what made it work. When Voldemort cast Avada Kedavra that night in the forest, he was using the Elder Wand, a wand that secretly owed its allegiance to Harry. The killing curse destroyed the Horcrux, the soul fragment inside Harry, but it could not kill its true master. Harry was knocked into a kind of death, a limbo, and then he came back. Voldemort, who had built his entire existence around the fear of death, who had torn his soul into pieces and hidden it across the world, who had sacrificed everything human about himself to survive, had accidentally destroyed his own final protection. He had nothing left to shield him. Every Horcrux was gone, and when Harry faced him one last time in the Great Hall, Voldemort was mortal for the first time in decades. A single curse ended it. 6 containers, 7 pieces. A plan that lasted more than 50 years, built on murder, on obsession, on a complete inability to understand that there are forces in this world that cannot be outrun or outmaneuvered. And in the end, it was undone not by superior magic or greater power. It was undone by a mother who stepped in front of a curse, by a boy who was willing to walk into the forest and not come back, by love, which Voldemort had dismissed as weakness his entire life, and which destroyed him completely. And that is every Horcrux, explained in full, from a diary passed to a 12-year-old girl, to a ring cursed with ancient dark magic, to a boy who never asked to be chosen. 6 objects, 7 souls. One plan that unraveled because Voldemort never once considered that the thing he feared most, death, was the very thing his enemy was willing to accept. If you made it this far, you clearly pay attention. So hit that subscribe button.